Empire Builders, I am here answering the questions from the 8:15 thread. I'm a little late because I actually made a resource for one of our members who asked this question. This is from Heather, and she had asked, how do I know when I'm ready to hire a virtual assistant to help me with marketing, etc.? Heather kicked off me finishing up a resource, which is this new blog post that I have called A Beginner's Guide to Hiring Your First Virtual Assistant, When to Start, What to Outsource, and How to Scale with the Right Support. So for Heather and anyone else who have been considering hiring their first virtual assistant or just outsourcing in general, this guide is for you. It's as thorough of a guide as I could make it. I am going through the 5 signs you're ready to hire an assistant, what type of virtual assistant you need, because I talk about generalist versus specialist VAs. I have a really robust section about the VA task list, 10 tips for hiring your first virtual assistant, and what it looks like to scale your business with the right support. Heather, for your particular question, I emphasized 5 signs that I think are really indicative that you're ready to hire. I'll let you read through this, but at a high level, the 5 signs are if you've already got a clear process or system that exists that you can then hand off to someone without too much oversight. If you're already feeling that burnout and want more work-life balance, that's another sign. Sign number 3 is your growth stalling, or number 4, are you avoiding certain tasks that you find tedious or just not something you're interested in doing anymore. And number 5, if you're missing out on certain opportunities because you're lacking bandwidth, which is really common as a service provider because we only have so many hours in the day. So that's the 5 signs section. And like I said, I talk way more in detail about a generalist versus specialist VA. And when you do get to the big list of tasks that you might be outsourcing, I really wanted to show the difference between what typically falls under a generalist VA's list of tasks versus a specialist VA for a particular area. So I have different sections for administrative tasks, course platform setup and management, content creation, etc. So go ahead and take a look at this blog post. It's live on my website right now. And then let me know if you have any additional questions after you consume the blog. And then the other question that Heather, I saw, and I'll go ahead and answer it because you did post it for feedback. You had posted this email that I think you probably already sent out for promoting, because I know you're part of this summit. One thing I was going to say is it did seem that there was quite a few things going on in the email, what you're sharing, your best hits collection. But when it came down to this part where, how you can access it 2 ways, whether it's $100 or through the actual summit, and then you have, I was trying to understand that I guess if you make it through the summit, you get an additional $100 off towards the full curriculum. If you ever made this kind of offer again for another summit that you're a part of, I would have just focused just on this part, that you can access this bundle just in one way, just at this summit, where you'll also get the $100 off, just to be a little cleaner on what it is that you're trying to do. The other thing that was a little confusing to me is you then mentioned a live sandbox session. Maybe this is something that your audience is already familiar with, but because I didn't know what a sandbox session was, I got confused. I'm like, oh, is this something that's also part of the summit or something you've referenced in another email that maybe I haven't read? So that one was also a little confusing. My feedback was just all about how do you make this email as clear as possible what you want them to do? Because in the PS, you do focus specifically on the summit. And if you just made it as this is the only way you get the bundle for right now, just focusing on the summit up here. Now, after the summit passes, then you could target anyone who'd opened this email but didn't sign up for the summit. That's when you can reoffer it as, oh, the summit passed, but you could still get my bundle for $100. So they missed out on getting it for free at the summit, but they can still get the bundle for $100. And then that follow-up email is even more focused on what it is you want them to do. So that's my feedback on that email. This could still perform very well for you with your audience, but just a little bit more clarity if you run this again the next time. I did mention in the last coaching call a user persona Canva template. I'm still working on templatizing that, but I will post that in the Facebook group, as well as send out an email with a link for a user persona template. And if you're not sure what I'm referring to, please go ahead and check out the replay of our previous coaching call that I am adding to our portal right now. Oh, and Jamie, if you are watching this replay, I know you had messaged me with a question of your own about your email templates. Go ahead and post it as a comment here. We've got a new weekly thread, and you could do just as Heather has done and post your question about the email templates right here. Thank you.